Yeah, but. I won't get those tomorrow. Well, Google. I didn't know when it was. I had to get a time. I didn't want to just tell, ask him.
Yeah, he's perfect.
That's a packet. This is what's all in there. This is all in there. There's paper packets. Oh, no,
When I tried to do it through the thing, I was bringing up stuff 2 months ago. And so I had to do it this way. Yay!
you may want to be able to.
And may not go when it's late, so it's Did you get the paper copies of that too?
Come back, you got more time now.
Just got 1 minute.
If anybody's escaping, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my students. When they're out in the hall, I'm like, whoa, if anybody's escaping, it's gonna be me. This thing's right here half a day anyway.
Yeah, do something for you. Let's see if you can. Which one? Tab 1. Well, it says unable. Tab 1 is which one is tab?
Child's birthday.
Yeah. Well, it's the first tab 7, 8, and 8. Oh, mine's 4. Here's tab 1.
That's the only way I can remember. It's 444.
It's, I mean, all this is, this is. Yeah, it's just the Chevron license requirement.
Do like this. And then which one was it?
New faces.
Click on the one.
What happened?
In the regular.
You moved places.
Sometimes it just requires originals.
Hey, Jim. Evening. Better than the back row.
What's that?
You bring your laser pointer?
Bring my load up.
Laser pointer? Laser pointer. Laser pointer. For the map. All right, let's go.
go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll say the prayer and then start running through things. Y'all pray with me. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here today. We ask that you bless us. We ask that you watch over us. We ask that you watch over our families, our loved ones. We ask that you watch over our community and our country. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, first up is discussion of Chevron license requirement. Thomas, what do you have on that?
The representative here from Demorest Chevron will probably be here at 7, they've been told to be here.
Okay.
They were supposed to be here at 6.
They were supposed to be here.
We'll see when they make
Are they on the agenda for 7?
it. No, just the,
Okay, we'll come back to it if they come. All right, next is discussion of the water conservation plan. And we need to add, Mark, what do you have on that?
we need to add the, other item being the water and sewer development standards that Fletcher will handle. And then we need to add the 2-inch water service agreement. And these items have been added to your iPad.
I'm sorry, sir?
These items are there. They're on.
Oh, they're in tabs.
Yep.
Okay.
It doesn't have a tab number, but it's in there.
So do you want to discuss that now?
We can start with Fletcher.
What job you discuss first, sir?
Your water and sewer standards.
Okay. So the city of Demorest, as you are well aware, have to comply with the Georgia EPD minimum standards for design and construction of their water and wastewater system. And quite often, developers come into the city and construct different portions of the infrastructure, including water and sewer, that connects to the city of Demorest system and then ultimately becomes part of the Demorest system. And they are required to comply with EPD standards as well. And typically, the city has their own set of water and sewer details that provides information to the developer so that they understand what the city requires as far as type of pipe, different manufacturers, fire hydrants, meters. It's specific to each city. This particular proposal provides the city with those drafted and approved water and sewer standards, which would be completed in accordance with Mr. Popham to ensure that we meet all the criteria that he has and requests in the system. Then those standards would be submitted to EPD, where they would review and approve them, and then ultimately provide the city of Demorest what they refer to as water and sewer delegation. Meaning that when a developer comes and wants to connect to the city system, then that review process would just go through the city, and then we would submit a report to EPD stating that those water and sewer construction measures were met in accordance with the city standards that were already approved through EPD. So this proposal that was submitted completes that task for the city. They currently do not have a set of standards and details. They are using an adopted set that's 20 years old, I believe. So we've been having to kind of provide information to developers as they continue to extend water and sewer mains for the city.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir.
And the quote to do this is,
Not to exceed 12,500.
And that's just the,
Water and sewer development standards.
right,
We still need development standards with our land disturbance.
Yes, this is just water and sewer, specifically related to water and sewer construction.
okay,
So I know,
who follows up on that? I mean, as the construction process goes to, I mean, I understand
meaning who's doing the inspections? Well, it could be Brian, it could be,
Yeah, it's done between Brian and his staff and EMI,
Okay.
depending on the complexity of the construction.
because EMI is approving all of their plans
Right.
to begin with, so they're working directly with, hand in hand with their engineering firm.
Okay. Good question. Any other questions? All right, going on to the next topic with you, Fletcher, is the water conservation plan.
Yes, sir. So you should have in front of you a copy of a water conservation plan. This document is a requirement from the Environmental Protection Division. It's part of renewing the city's water permit. You have a permit that's regulated by EPD. It must be renewed every 5 years, and the water conservation plan is part of the requirement in renewing that permit. This water conservation plan's purpose is to provide a framework for the city to improve the efficiency and to reduce water loss throughout the system. It provides water conservation measures for the city to aid and assist in reducing water loss, specifically trying to mitigate flushing certain parts of the system. So it provides standards, so parts of the system would be flushed when needed, but during drought conditions might not be needed to improve water efficiency. It also gives guidance on ensuring that tanks are not overflowing. However, the city of Demorest has a SCADA system which manages that, but it does provide some more information and details specifically to that. It also provides details on water conservation measures for consumers. So it gives different type of information as it relates to low flow fixtures for people in their homes, educates them on conserving water and different types of measures that they can put in place. It also addresses water rates and water rate structures. One of the things that the water conservation measure recommends is to ensure that the city has a tiered rate structure, which the city of Demorest has now, meaning that the more water a consumer uses, the more they would pay. One, it puts more stress on the city system, but also it encourages water conservation, which is what EPD is after. And then lastly, it also provides measures for drought contingency, which we are going to be approaching if we don't get rain soon. But it provides certain measures when the state has drought measures in place. There's 3 different measures that they incorporate, and that would regulate the city on how they reuse water. Or so, for instance, based on a certain measure of drought contingency, which is regulated by the state, the city would have to implement certain restrictions on outdoor watering based on what level that drought contingency was. So this document puts all of that information together in one particular document. It does need to be approved by the city, and then that document is submitted to EPD with a renewal permit for the water system operating permit. And ultimately would be approved by EPD as well.
It's a pretty interesting 78-page document you've put together. I looked at it the other day. It's really comprehensive. Our water system. Thanks for that.
That's all the information.
And we have to do that every 5 years?
Yeah, so the permit renewals every 5. The city did not have a complete water conservation plan in place. So now in the next 5 years, we just have to update it.
Okay.
If there's any specific measures that need to be used regulated. So next time it's going to be very simple.
Okay. That's good.
And Kobe, who did the report, gave me an overview, so I will email this to y'all. So
Okay.
I can read the whole 78 pages
We
there.
have to look to adopt this plan and turn it in. Okay. All right. Next topic you still have is the 2-inch water agreement. And that's just Mark, you want to touch on
Yeah.
that?
What this is, there's an agreement in place where somebody may have a 2-inch meter and they don't know why they have a 2-inch meter, but they want to go down to a 3/4-inch meter. And this is a way that we can go in and have this agreement that we will replace it and make the changes. And Thomas indicated that we had to have this agreement, and I can sign it, write it up, but y'all have to approve it at the next meeting. That's what we're here to do on this one account for a church. Church is there 4 times a month, and not much use. So that's what this is about. So we need to approve this.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next is a discussion of DDA map. Jim, what do you have for us?
All right, I'll be get y'all all a copy of
Yes, sir.
the map. Every DDA in every city has to have a footprint showing their operating area. You have to operate within your area. So that's part of what we were having to do. We've had a map, a footprint that was very vague and was from a past streetscape job that was done, kind of adopted. So we got to looking at it and thinking about anything that could come open in the city that we would want to try to include in the DDA business. We have several houses going down R441 that have different businesses in it, salons and bookkeepers and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the area coming up through here could potentially be something in the future.
Yeah.
So we started looking into the map and talked to Thomas, and Thomas gave us some guidelines about where we need to start and where we need to go. Thank you. Which led us directly to our city manager, and Mark helped with taking the information that we had come up with and going to our map people, conveyed that to them. They came up with a map, sent it to a draft. We tweaked it a little bit, and they took care of that and sent us this. So the DDA has met, reviewed this, discussed it, voted, and approved this for a new footprint for the DDA. So essentially, I don't know if you're looking on your map right here at the end of the red, there's a large block. That's the Yona Memorial Cemetery. Up here on the right side at the upper red is the Demorest City Cemetery. So that's what we went from cemetery to cemetery, running 441 Central Avenue, any properties that touch, and then also including the historic district.
Yeah.
And just putting that together, those two, the red and the yellow. The yellow is part of the historic district, and the red is the new area. Going up 441.
Okay.
From cemetery to cemetery.
And you need the city council to approve that map, or you?
Yeah, y'all are gonna have to adopt when you activate your DDA, you all adopt the map, so if you're gonna amend the map, you all have to do that.
Okay.
So are we essentially just amending to this?
If that's what they want to do, if they're okay with that.
Council, do y'all have any questions on that?
From that point, I mean, is it done? Does it have to go to the state?
We'll have to, I'll get the paperwork filed with the Secretary of State's office, so we'll file.
Council, do y'all have any questions?
We feel like the area that we're opening up to should help cover the DDA for many years to come and not have to revisit this for a long time.
Okay. Thanks for thinking about that.
All right. Anything else?
Does this put any restrictions on properties?
No.
No.
It just helps to lift some restrictions from us so we can actually do DDA business.
If they want to buy the property, leasing the property within various states.
Or even write grants in those districts.
Thomas, do we have to have a document to submit to Secretary of State?
Yeah, there'll be a resolution, there should be a resolution.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Do y'all need Jim to stay?
We don't want to run you off, Jim.
I will slip out.
Next is discussion of GoGov contract.
Yep. All right. GoGov is something that the former fire chief had started the process in looking at this company, and it didn't go anywhere. But this is something, if you start scrolling through your tab there, you'll see some items and you'll see the cost of this. What this GoGov would be, it would be an app that the citizens, employees, would just download on their phone like any other app, but it's going to be curtailed to the city of Demorest. If you see somebody with a potential code enforcement, take a couple of pictures, you would go to that section and you would forward it to who that person is. And right now we're talking about James taking over and doing the code enforcement, and he would start all his training in the fall. But right now, some of the easier situations, you take a picture of overgrown lot, whatever it is, and then the people who send that in can keep up with that app to see where we are in that process. Has James done anything with it, or now it's to the attorney, it's the legal side of it. Or we've given that person 30 days to clean up. And so that's one of the items there. The citizens can request anything, hey, my trash didn't get picked up. And then we also have the ability to notify by text, by voicemail, and emails to each of the citizens who have signed up for this. It's another way other than our Nexel, you better reach out to people. So we would promote this to our water customers, to anybody in the city like that. And the cost would be $12,940 a year for this added service. But it was really being used, it will really come in handy with some of the code enforcement, and that's where the previous folks were looking at it from that side. And, but if you go through, it will tell you some of the updates of the things, who's gonna like this, what's some of the benefits. And it's being branded, they'll have the City of Demorest app on their phone, so they can reach and communicate with the city at any point in time. You know, whether it's a road closure, weather updates, holiday, whatever the case may be. And my thought with this was it will just give citizens an extra chance to reach out, to become a part of, and then be able to follow up to see the success of whatever the issue might be. And they do all our training, everything is included in that price. And they've done a great job. I've shown it to Casey and James, and Brian did not, and Megan, and we just see it as a real benefit for the citizens and for staff. So with that, I would ask y'all to approve this. I have not had Thomas to review the contract yet on this, so that would be the only thing subject to Thomas' approval.
Give live weather updates.
Yeah, that weather's another big part of it too, because I'll again, in Nexel, they're just getting just so many characters, Megan. So, and it says here, your benefits for code enforcement generates your letters, your printouts, your inspection notice, and your reporting. So it's pretty comprehensive. And when I was at my conference for the city and county managers a couple of weeks ago, this guy was there too. So that's kind of what rekindled my memory of seeing something from before. So a lot of cities around us, some of the bigger cities have.
Talk about the app on payment.
Yes, you get that part of it, yeah, because you talked about that today.
So they also offer, you can add anything that's on our city website on this app. So one of the benefits that I saw was people often ask us, do we have an app to make payments on our water bills? So that is an option that we can link to there. They'll be able to click on that app and pay their water bill.
Secured, so forth. So yeah, thank you for reminding me of that.
But again, we also, on the code enforcement, we currently do not have any platform for code enforcement. So it is important.
Council, what's y'all's discussion on this?
I think I'd like a little bit more time to kind of read over all this.
Very good.
And you mentioned weather updates. Who does the weather update? How does that get to the?
That's a good question.
Jerry was seeing that off of you. If you were scrolling with it there, it shows you various what it can do.
Yeah, but following along with Jimmy's question, I don't know if that's something the staff would have to push that alert out, or it'd be an automatic.
I would say something we'll have to push out,
Probably.
but I can get that answer, not a problem.
That's what happens with the Nixle system. We have to manually put that notification out.
And again, if there's a road closure because of water, we can put the exact location of where that is on that map.
That's a great idea. Thanks for bringing it forward. Council, do y'all have any more questions?
I might have more, I mean, it sounds like a.
We could put you on, if anybody wants to, we could do a Zoom call with them. And you can see the whole presentation for about 30 minutes, whatever you wanna do.
But have they got a PowerPoint or something to?
Well, we went over it with one of the main guys, so we just did it on Zoom and he does it on both screens and so forth, so.
Very good. Thank you. All right, cleaning contract. Mark, what do you have?
Y'all, this is just obviously some house cleaning here. Lisa Hooper had been doing our cleaning probably for the last 2 years, and she decided to take a break from it. So we put it out there, got 3 bids in, and this is the cheapest of the 3, which would be $485 a month for the 2 cleaning services. And because this is a contract, y'all have to approve all contracts, even though it's within the dollar amount for me, but because it's a contract, y'all have to approve it. Where they would clean City Hall and here in the restrooms in the hallway.
Police department?
Police department's that way.
Yeah, but is that part of this? No.
They handle their own, I don't know what they do.
James is cleaning lady. What's the difference between the amount that we're paying now versus this?
What we were paying Lisa,
Yeah.
I think we're paying $250. I think it was $100 and then
Rhonda,
$150.
do you know what we were paying Lisa?
Was it $250?
470, I think, for the whole.
Both of them? Okay,
She was doing twice a month, so I was
okay.
And
Thank you.
so it's comparable
Yeah.
to what we've had.
The 3 that we had, one was like 600, one was 500, and one was 480.
$485.
That answers my question.
We probably had 20 people inquire about it. We finally had to take it down.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, you're up next with 4th of July band contract.
Thomas and I, we spoke about this as we came in the building. We're gonna get a generic contract. The band does need 3 hotel rooms. I found that out. They are gonna play for 2 hours. The group that we're going with, name is Stereo Superstars, and they're providing production, that will be all day. I know, discussion with April, we've been talking about all-day events. What do they want to do? I know the cakewalk, people still want to do that. So this does allow us to have everything in one lump sum, Groups out of Atlanta, don't know much about them other than it's a cover group, 70s to today's hits. So.
They sound good if you pull them off.
They do sound
And
nice.
they got the look, so.
They do. The stage is set, but we'll get a generic contract. Thomas, I'll work on that and I'll get that to them. So I can just clear it up.
General terms and conditions and the, kind of special terms such as the rooms and the hospitality area and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I've got a generic contract out. That's the 2 things.
Okay, I appreciate it.
This is something we can vote and be done with today. Okay.
The hospitality room where you think that's news, I didn't know about that with the hotel, so please.
The hotels, all I know is three rooms. That's all that they have. And as far as hospitality room, they haven't asked for anything. He hasn't said anything about that to me. I will follow up
The
for sure.
terms, they want,
I know they want some alcohol beverages.
they want a case of beer and then just waters and snacks and things like that. It's not like they want a buffet. They just
Right.
want kind of just.
Yes.
$50.
That's right. That's right.
Thomas, in here, I did put the contract that you made your notes on.
Okay.
I have a question about the stage. Where did we get the stage from?
Jeff Miller Productions.
And I noticed they had requirements for a raised platform.
That it is included. With the stage comes a drum riser.
Yes.
If a keyboard riser is available, it's not, but the stage does come with a drum riser. I did verify that. It's just hard to find this stuff. There's not many companies out there that has a stage, for one.
Right.
This is a big year for the 4th of July. So, local guy we used to use, Wayne Bright, his stage is booked probably for the next 4 years. Jeff Miller's stage, his large one, city company has it, and he just happened to have a small one available. They're just hard to come by. So, I know we've talked about this at a couple of meetings. It may benefit the city to look into doing something
An amphitheater.
well, I'm not saying an amphitheater, but even a pavilion, that can act as a stage. It may be a good investment, because they're few and far between.
We're paying.
I mean, this is $3,000. So, 10 years worth of rent on the stage, you could probably drop that in a pavilion. Just like the pole barn pavilion, they can act as a picnic area, et cetera. You can stage.
Very good. Council, do y'all have any other questions?
I do wanna, some other things, I do have an opening group, David Anderson out of Gainesville will be a good, again, everyone's busy, so I'm just trying to get all that, but I'll get that contract after Thomas gets it to me, I'll get it to him. There's also a local guy here in town, D. Ellison. He is a DJ. I know we'd like to have music throughout the day, but I do not want to book numerous people to play over and over and over. So I've talked to D if he would be interested in playing, just doing DJ, turntable DJ style, and playing a variety of songs all day long. So that we can just, and he's open to it.
Again, it's just cost.
That's right. Barry Church, I did speak to him. I was getting my hair cut, and I'd like to do a 30-minute VFW something, some kind of patriotic tribute, celebration, etc. right before the main act. He's open, so he's talking to some people at the VFW to get a few things together, and then I would like Dee to play patriotic music during the fireworks celebration, during the fireworks show. I feel like just make it a little bit better of a show.
Thanks for putting so much effort in
Yeah, no problem. So I will have everything balanced for May. I will.
Let me know what you need.
So will we need to vote on this or no?
Contract, what I would like for them to do is approve, Mark has signed a contract with Payne, once it's been drafted by the city attorney and approved by the city.
For both, the opening act is gonna have a contract too.
Is the opening act gonna want a contract?
That's up to you. I mean,
As long as they don't show up, I mean, it doesn't, I have any relationship, I don't have any relationship with them, I don't know what they generally do. I mean,
they don't. They're just small town. They play local gigs at restaurants,
Just
etc.
just get a statement from them.
Okay.
They-
Okay.
I'm a little surprised they don't have something, most even,
Well, Dave doesn't do anything. Now, this other group, they do festivals, but Dave doesn't. He just does
And then
small.
check on whether you need an opening if you're gonna have the DJ.
Okay. I may not.
It's just that you don't have to make that call.
Right.
All right, next up is Walnut and Ohio Alley closure. Mark, what do you have for us?
At the end of Walnut Street and at the corner of Ohio Street, if you look at your tab there, you will see the Q Public piece there. There's two properties included in this alley, and one of them is Mr. Carlson, and I'm not sure of the person across the way, but they have talked, and Brian has assured there are no utilities in that, so where the asphalt would stop to that property line right there would be what's included, and also will clear up a survey infraction where whenever they built that garage, it's over the property line. Now, it will at least be all over the property and not over into the alleyway. And they would split that half and half.
yeah, the trick is gonna be the person at the end, whether they want their little piece. Once you all approve this resolution tonight, those letters will go out tomorrow. And we'll see.
What's the cost associated with them taking over that for them?
I did not take a look. The last time we had something like this, y'all may recall, we looked at the assessed value of the surrounding parcels. I have no idea what they are. So it'll be whatever, basically what we usually do is average the assessed value of the two. It'll be those two properties that figure most prominently, and then divide that by the square footage of that alleyway, and that's whatever. My guess is it's gonna be less than $1,000.
Yes.
And this is city-owned property.
It's unopened.
Sharing alleyway right away. Yes, sir.
I think that's roughly what the last one was.
I think the last one was Blue Ridge.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions, comments about this?
How many feet beyond the paved does it go?
Give me a minute, I'll pull Pass it back here. Mr. Carlson's first name.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin and Kay.
This is the full alley, cause it looks like the other property
About 160 feet long.
total. Total,
From the end of pavement to that property line
okay.
is about 160 feet.
Yep, calculate 140.
What's the calculated in the width?
That's to the end of the alley. The alley doesn't continue past that point.
No, we did into that other person's property.
It's about 35 feet wide.
On the exhibit, Mark starts that red block right where the pavement stops.
Right.
Very good. Any other questions? All right, next up is the GMA employee benefit proposal. Mark, do you have anything to add on that?
Well, I'll go back and just summarize, and we did, Brian polled his guys, Casey did the police department, and Megan did, the ladies at City Hall. And, because really, we had three options. One was to increase the benefit multiplier from 1.5 to 2%. Number two was to do the rule of 75 with a minimum age of 55, or do both 1 and 2. And I gave folks today the option to choose 1 or 2, because it was gonna be just concerned about financials. So it is, for number 1, which is to increase the multiplier from 1.5 to 2%, was 18 people. I'm sorry, number 1 is 14 people. And for number 2, the rule of 75 is 18 people. So, basically, Brian's guys all went with the rule of 75. Out of Casey's area, 10 went with number 1, and 1 went with number 2. So, and then we checked around to see what the other cities have. So bear with me, Cornelia has a normal retirement age 65 with a 1.75 benefit multiplier. Clarksville also has a normal retirement age 55, and an alternative normal retirement age 55 with 30 years of service. They have a 1.5% multiplier. Cleveland has a normal retirement at age 65 with 1.75% benefit multiplier. Toccoa has a normal retirement age 55 and a rule of 80 minimum age and minimum age 55 for public safety only. They have a 1.75 benefit multiplier, and this is a breakpoint multiplier each stage. They are somewhat complex, but effectively it is a 1.75. As far, he wrote, this is from Josh, as far as which plan change will make the biggest difference, it will change based on the employees and when they started their employment. The Rule 75 will allow some employees to start drawing their benefits earlier, but the 2% multiplier will make everyone's benefit higher once they do start drawing their retirement.
Well, it's interesting. Council, what do y'all like to discuss on this? I know we're kind of looking at budget on where we're looking at. That's gonna.
I'd like a little bit more, since this won't technically go into effect on January first. I'd like a little bit, since we got the comparables today, I'd like a little time to digest and think about looking at those comparables we got versus what we've been presented.
Okay. Council, do y'all have any other conversations or questions?
I'm just glad we're doing this. I think it's a step forward for our employees for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a nice reward. Good. All right, move forward. Next is a discussion of the home rule ordinance. Thomas, do you have anything on that, or just wait for that second reading?
Just wait for the second reading.
Okay, thank you,
Do the
sir.
ads run?
Yes.
Okay, then we're good.
All right, Thomas, opioid settlement, one more of these.
Need to authorize you to execute.
Very good.
We don't know how much money or anything.
I don't believe so.
Do we have a running order of how many we approved of these? They do triple in one money. Alright, next is discussion of, the agreement between the Board of Education and the City of Demorest. City of Demorest purchased all of their gas, not diesel, from the Board of Education, and we need a new agreement with them. Mark, what do you have on this? This is every 3 years?
And this is dated back to December 1st. And the biggest change is on page, where was that section that maybe? Okay, well, that's all right. Basically, it's a administrative fee. And Denver shall pay the Board of Education a fee of 5% per gallon based on the actual cost of the fuel consumed each month. So it's a 5% override for us to have their access. And we don't foresee any problem. It works very well between the city and the school board. And Patrick and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. So this has just been out there.
Do they purchase their fuel at cost?
They
Is
do.
there- They do, okay.
Years ago, Donnie and I were part of when we worked out this deal with Board of Education, and it saved us a lot of money. And it also put some security checks in place, because every time some employee goes to use it, they have to use their fuel key and then a fuel number. So it really puts some checks and balances in place.
We've compared the fuel prices and it's cheaper.
Right, so if they're getting it at cost, yeah.
What about for diesel?
We can't diesel, something about they're getting some kind of additional break that we couldn't negotiate diesel. There was some.
And the only thing that we have diesel would just be the equipment. Brian does not.
No diesel trucks that you drive, dump trucks, not diesel or anything like that? Okay,
Gas burner on
The
it.
fire truck.
What the fire truck was.
right, okay. Okay.
Any other questions? All right.
What do you currently do for diesel? I just go to the gas station? Just
They'll go back to the Citgo this way or the Chevron right there. Right?
All right, since we're in the agenda, let's move back to the Chevron licensing requirement progress report. Thomas, what do you have on this?
I think the representative from, Demorest Chevron walked in. You have address the council and tell them what you all have done with regard to signage and training and registered agent.
Yes.
You can step up.
We did have completed everything that has been asked for. all of the people that are working at the store, they took the TIRV training for the alcohol, and we put the signage on the cooler doors and at the front door. So it will be more visible to the customers about the ID. And we also hired a manager that is the local, like, of Habersham County, and had provided all the documents as
As a
well.
registered agent? As a registered
As a
agent.
registered agent, yes.
And y'all have pictures in here of all of these that they sent.
Right. And what was your name?
My name is Asfa.
Are you the,
I'm the compliance manager.
I'm sorry,
The compliance manager.
compliance?
All right, Thomas, you satisfied?
I am, I think with that, they've satisfied what you all required and then have to do it on January 15th. So,
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
is there any need for her to stay for the,
No, no.
you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Is there anything else we need to discuss during the work session?
Unless we want to enter into an executive session for personnel.
I think it'll take longer than 15 minutes, right?
It will.
Okay, let's just wait. Yeah, you want to start your manager's report?
I may do that. All right. Couple things to start with. Obviously, on the list was the July 4th, and Andrew, you did a great job explaining all of that and all the details and what you're working on for that, so I applaud you for that. And, the next one, I knew this email was gonna be coming, and the post office is having a problem with parking. Imagine that, at lunchtime. And I don't know, they've got 5 posted parking spots, and obviously people are taking those and not, there will be anybody in the post office. Citizens are urging the postmaster to start towing cars. They don't wanna do that. So Casey, I will make y'all aware of this now, for y'all to keep an eye on that. I don't know what options we have from a legal standpoint, Thomas.
Do they have guaranteed parking down there?
You have guaranteed parking in their contract, their parking signs are posted. So their posted signs do say that they can tow.
And those spots over there by the, what do you call this?
I do. What about
The podium? Yes,
The
sir.
podium, that's what.
Are the signs posted that they'll be towed?
They are posted, that will be towed, yeah.
Guess after you could tow a couple people, be shocked.
But it's not our responsibility to tow,
it'd be the post office. But Casey, y'all will talk to Sean about this tomorrow. Okay? One of the things this past week, the vandalism has moved to the park. You know, we had 2 nice rocking chairs underneath the gazebo. We have one now. The other one was smashed to pieces. So we did go with a heavier double rocker. And so Casey and James, if y'all will pay attention to any of that kind of stuff. I know it's not happening when you're there, but so just pay attention to anything in there. I mean, you can't, it's hard to provide. Can somebody not do something like that? But to go into the fire report, really, I've got the month of February and March. And I will go into the one with March. We just completed our 3rd month with Habersham County. I just delivered their $133,000 quarterly check for Monday. So we're paid up now through another 3 months of that. They just graduated their fire academy, and at that point, we will be fully staffed every day. And now that they graduated those folks, this report does show when there was only one driver there, and it is what it is. But we have it, in this report, it gives you their response times. Their calls for the month of January were 7 fire, 9 EMS. February was 11 fire and 23 EMS. In the month of March, there were 3 fires with 81 EMS calls. So, going down to the police department, officers responded to 340 total calls in the month of February, 4 domestic calls, all verbal. Officers completed 12 incident reports. Officer responded to 9 accidents, completed 5 accident reports, and GSP completed 4. And there was injuries with 1 hit and run. Officers made 150 traffic stops and issued 121 citations. That is 20% with a warning then with that, and they completed 99 hours of training in the month of February. Brian's report, they did 9 emergency locates, 184 general locates, work orders, they filled 213 of those, had 9 leaks, and we had a big leak back in February of 1,230,000 gallons, for a total of 2.1 million gallons lost in February. And our total consumption of the water is 47 million gallons for Baldwin. Toccoa had 6.5 million gallons, and the Mize well had 5.8 million for a grand total of 59 million gallons. And that's an interesting amount with us being right here where it's not drought time like we're seeing now to be doing 59 million gallons, because, you know, we're hitting up there. And because again, we're allowed 3 million gallons a day between Baldwin and Toccoa. And so 3 times 30 there, you know, you see your numbers. So there's a lot of water out there, and a lot of water being used. We've replaced several street signs and added them where they've been missing from cross sections out there. And the leaf guys did 587 loads of leaf and debris. On to our reports from EMI. Our water system is operating within its permit limits, and our sewer system is operating within our permit limits. With that, I will move to the financials. I'm glad to say this month, in February, we only transferred $3,000 from the water account to the general fund. That's because we received $119,000 in property tax revenue. And we received $103,000 in annual franchise fees. And we received a little $41,000 for our LMIG, which we have handled. Background revenue for the month was $8,900. And we'll talk about that a little bit later with GCIC. We received right at $7,000 in fines. The good part is in SPLOST, we received $43,000 for SPLOST for last month. And that is a huge number because we're budgeting around $33,000. So the other part is, congratulations to the city. We paid off the $94,460 last payment on the fire e-bumper. So it is paid for. Water sales hit 508. Sewer revenues were at 62,000. Water install fees, which is the sale of the water meters, is a little over 14,000. And to go to your first page of the financials, and again, this statement is dated February 28th, and I got cash balances as of April 6th. So you'll see some difference in there. For February 28th, our SPLOST dollars were $568,000, and our cash date is $604,000. So we have, been banking that money there very well. Overall cash is at 3.9 million, and then as of April 6th, we're at 4.3. Operating cash for February 28th is 945,000, and as of April 6th is $1,000,000,001. We've got 4.38 is the number of months of liquidity on hand in our cash, so that is an excellent position. And on page 2 of the deck, you will see the remaining payments, $45,082. That's our last payment for the annual police cars, and those cars will be paid for. On page 4, under the revenues, I stated that we had received $119,000 in property taxes, and year to date, we have received $376,000, and that's based upon an amount of $483,000 to be collected total, which is leaving still to be collected $107,000. Then the franchise fees. So for the total revenue for the general fund for the month of February was $298,000. That is a huge number, but again, you think about the franchise fee and the tax collections. The current expenditures were $135,000, so that's why we did not have to make any water transfers in the month of February. So that puts us in a good spot right there. On to page 5, under the operating revenue numbers. Like I said, the total water and sewer collections is $626,000, and that puts us, when you annualize that for the 2 months, that puts us right at 7.5, which is our gross budget number. If you annualize that out, our expenses were $258,000, and we're well under our budgets for that from the 2 months with that. Last page again is the SPOS dollars, where the balance as of February 28th is $568,000, and the balance as of yesterday was $604. So our cash position is in an excellent position, and our financials are doing quite well. And I encourage us to stick to the budget and keep moving as we're going. So, Frankie, what was my time, sir? Frankie. I think I did pretty fast. Thank you.
Have anything else to add, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Council, anything else y'all would like to ask questions about before we take a recess?
Yeah.
It was 12.
Normally you're here for 30 minutes for that discussion.
All right.
Okay. Should that
name and glorify our community. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two things to add, correct? Before we approve the agenda, we have two things to add. If we can make, coming in under number 10, if we can make a new number 11 with the water and sewer development standards. And then a new number 12 is the 2-inch water meter agreement. And bumping all the numbers down accordingly. Council, do y'all have anything you'd like to add or remove? I think we have a couple we're gonna table.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you, sir. A second? All right, all those in favor? You're good. Thank you. All right, first up is appearance and public comment. This is for anything that is not on the public hearing. If anybody's here to speak on something that's not on the two public hearings, please step forward. If none, we will move over to approval of the minutes. Council, these minutes were sent out to you. You've had time to review them. We'll entertain a motion to accept them as stated.
I have a question.
Sir.
There was a online article, news article, came out today, talking about, this upcoming public hearing with the 415 Fisk Avenue. In the article, it states, this request was also discussed at length during the March meeting, where council members weighed potential impacts on surrounding neighborhoods and opted to move the proposal forward for another public input rather than take immediate action. I don't see that in the minutes.
It wasn't discussed, sir.
It wasn't discussed, okay. I just want to make sure that, you know, I wasn't in the bathroom or something when this happened. So I just want to state record that that's wrong.
Very good. We'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Can Thomas look at
Okay.
one of them for a minute?
Give us a second for the council to finish. Okay, very good. We'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. All right, Thomas, I'll let you have the floor with opening up of the first public hearing, which is the consideration of the McCain Investments property, and it's at 10.74 acres.
Yes, this is a public hearing with regard to the requested rezoning, 10.74 acres from A agricultural to R2 multifamily residential for a 34-lot, single-family detached subdivision property located off Saluda Drive, Demorest, Georgia. This will be a public hearing. Each side will have 10 minutes. The applicant is free to reserve time for rebuttal if they wish.
Mr. Musselwhite, you had presented staff's recommendation previously. Is there anything that you had to add before we hear for and against?
No, do not.
Okay. Then we'll open the public hearing. Those wishing to speak in favor of the proposed rezoning, if you'll take the podium.
And then we'll just double check the microphone, please, sir. Is it working? Tap it for me. No.
It's good.
I knew I was either or button push.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, my name is Matt Benson. I represent the applicant and owner of the property that is before you this evening, King Investment Properties. Again, it's the 10.74 acres located off Saluda Drive. We're asking you this evening, I'm not trying to be too redundant from my last presentation and bore you to death. We're asking to rezone from ag to R2 for the purpose of constructing 34 single-family detached residential homes on that property. Question's been asked to me, Matt, why R2? Why not R1? It's a great question. If you look at table 6.2 of your code, you'll see 19 listed measurable requirements that compare R1 and R2. For all of them, save one, we're R1. We had to apply for R2 zoning because the square footage of the lot size is 6,000 minimum rather than the 10,000 minimum required by R1. For all other aspects of it, we're effectively R1. Density, we're at 3.16. R1 allows 4. We're below the minimum on that, or the maximum allowed, I'm sorry. Heated floor area, we're going to meet it, 1,500 square feet, as long as y'all provide a condition that, which we encourage you to do, because we're not building 1,000 square foot homes. So that was a great question I got. That's the reason we're R2 instead of R1. Let me tell you why we think you should approve the request. I'm going to focus on 2 reasons, and I'm going to reserve most of my time for rebuttal. The first is because this city, through this council, with input from the citizens, approved the 2023 Joint Comp Plan, which specifically identified this property as being in the suburban transition character area, which anticipates, quote, and encourages the development of undeveloped properties, like that one, within this character area as single-family residential communities at moderate to higher densities. That's quote. And we're not at higher density. We're at a moderate density. We're at an R1 density. We're at 25% less than R1 density. But we're making an application in compliance with your own comp plan. If you approve what we're asking for, you'll be in line with your own comp plan. And we think that's a good reason to approve the motion. Second good reason, you have a very educated and experienced, well-trained staff who has analyzed this application through 3 main criteria: state law, local code, comp plan. Looking through the lens of those 3 criteria, your staff has recommended to you that you approve this application, albeit with several conditions, all of which, most of which, we find completely reasonable, and we endorse those conditions. Let me bring your attention to 2 of them, if you're looking at them, and Megan and Thomas can point these, and Mark can point these out to you. But condition number 4, the last version I saw had a blank in it. I don't know if it still does, but we'd recommend you fill that in, the 1,500 square foot minimum. Make us build that big of a house. We don't want a blank there. Second, condition 3, your staff has recommended a rental restriction, which is a fantastic idea. Rental restrictions, and your staff has recommended that you approve a rental restriction that no more than 10% of the units in the development could be rented at any one time. Rental restrictions are great, and Demorest should have one in its conditions for all developments, because what you don't want is a single investor coming in, buying all 34 units, and then renting them all out. You don't want that. We don't want that. I'm just suggesting to you that 10% is a little too conservative. We're going to try to protect our homeowners. They're buying a fee simple unit. We want those that have to, for very good moral and ethical and reasonable reasons, to be able to rent. For instance, I'll give you some examples. active military deployment, loss of job, family situations that would require a family to try to sell their home. And if they couldn't, rent would be there so that foreclosure could be avoided. Now, should it be 90%? No. 80%? No. I'm suggesting 50%. If you think that's too high, somewhere between 10 and 50, I think would be fair. We just don't think limiting it to 3 families could rent their homes in the case that in the event of an emergency or to avoid foreclosure. We think that's a little too restrictive. That's the only quibble we've got with the conditions. Otherwise, adopt them all. We like them. Your staff did a great job writing them. So we would ask you to, somebody make a motion to approve, and all of you vote in favor. Thomas, I'll reserve the rest of my time for rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You have 5.5 minutes.
Thomas? Is there anyone else to speak in favor? The applicant has 5.5 minutes for rebuttal. Anyone to speak in opposition?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm glad to be back with you. Mayor, do you mind if I approach and read some things?
Different than it was. Different packet.
Mayor and Council, I was absolutely, it is the same stuff that I handed out the last time. It's not, and I want to walk through a part of a bit of what we discussed the last time, but I also want to talk about what this proposal is actually asking for. So what you have there in front of you is a letter of intent from the McCain Pickens Tucker LLP on behalf of McCain Investment Properties, and they don't make any bones about it. They want ag, which is what this council did when they zoned this property to R2. And they want it specifically for the purpose, and they say it in this letter of intent for the proposed, and it's highlighted there for you, for the proposed development that will consist of 34 single-family detached homes accessed by a single entrance from Saluda Drive. If you flip the page on that first handout, it says approval of the proposed development is further supported by its consistency with the policies of the 2023 Joint Comprehensive Plan, which I'm glad Mr. Benson brought up, which designates the property within the suburban transition character area. On the second handout, you'll see that I made a copy of the 2023 Comprehensive Plan on the documents that were specific to the city of Demorest. And so, obviously, we've all been through that comp plan process. It's an arduous process, and it's been quoted. But if you look at specifically what Demorest had in that comp plan, you can see it on page 2. And one of the most common values cited in the planning process was safe, charming, beautiful, improved, rural, inviting, thriving, and all of the verbiage, including the city goals, surround those types of things. On the next page, you look at the vision for the downtown Demorest and appropriate land uses. That's all in line with what the first page said. It's not till you get somewhere around page 110, 111, 112 of the comp plan that you see this map that was not put in there by the city of Demorest, but was put in by the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission. And it has that piece of property colored in tan for whatever reason as that transitional from suburban to urban. That's not the city of Demorest's document. It's not from the comp plan on the city of Demorest's portion of that. If you look at the next handout, you'll see the city of Demorest and staff, you did do a great job. And you'll see the planning analysis, but it uses the same verbiage. In that first paragraph, the proposal aligns with the 2023 Joint Comprehensive Plan, the suburban transition character area. Again, that was something that was not in what Demorest submitted, but was actually put in there by the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission. And what I put in red underneath that is it does not align with the rezone and the zoning ordinance that we went through, which was an arduous process that we went through for a long time. And so we
got together for months upon months upon months and talked about this particular piece of property, and it was zoned to ag. So it's not in it is in opposition of what the intent of that property was. It says in the second paragraph, this is marginally meets the fire accessible standards. You know, we're supposed to have 2 entrances and 2 exits, and we've got just 1. And if you look on the second page, question number 8, whether the proposed annexation and zoning will adversely affect the existing use and usability of adjacent or nearby properties. And staff said, potentially due to environmental and watershed issues. Number 11, whether there are existing and changing conditions affecting the use and development of property which give supporting grounds to either approval or disapproval. And staff said yes. The development causes potential stormwater and watershed management issues. The topography is steep and will require retaining walls, stream buffers, significant soil and erosion management, et cetera, and so forth. So staff has told you already that there are potential problems with this. We acknowledge it as a city. And so if you look at the next piece, and I'll point your attention back to that just for a second, and I believe there's some people here to speak about it. But using Saluda Drive is the only entrance, is using a private drive in a private subdivision and gaining access to a different subdivision, and you're going to utilize their roads. And if you've been in Habersham Meadows anytime lately, those roads are horrible, and the city's not going to take them over. And I talked to every resident that was at home last night that would answer the door, and they were unaware of this. And so I made them aware of it, and they were all surprised that we were even considering a subdivision that was going to allow drive through their private roads that they have to maintain by their own home ordinance association. And so that was one of the things that was surprising to them, and there may be some that are here to speak to that. If you look at the next page, I asked the question at the last meeting. I said, have we done a hydrology study? Have we done a slope analysis? Have we done those types of things? And the answer that I was told at the last meeting was no, we don't have any hydrology. Well, and I did an open records request, and I found this document. It's a series of emails, and it goes back to November the 3rd of last year, where it says, Mr. Benson, the attorney, was provided by Thomas, our attorney, the stormwater management statement, and Mr. Mitchell in the email shared it. And this professional group says, we share the city's concern regarding the protection of downstream properties and any potential flood impacts from a proposed development on the subject 10.74 acre parcel adjacent to Hancock Meadows, which is Habersham Meadows. The issue is complicated by the fact that both the subject property and the downstream parcel sits at the bottom of a 990 acre watershed that ultimately drains under Double Springs Road north of the site. Second page, we are concerned that the pre-analysis commitment to on-site detention, which is what this council is here to choose tonight, whether it's going to be an approval or a not approval. We're concerned that a pre-analysis commitment to on-site detention could potentially end up being an obstacle to protecting downstream properties from increased peak flows and flood levels due to this timing issue. So I've asked for a couple of slides for us to take a look at. So what makes this property different than the front property? Because Mr. Benson aptly made the analogy that the front side gets to be at this particular distance, density. We would like to be at the same density. Well, let's take a look at that. Okay, so what I've drawn for you there, if you can see the red arrow and the yellow line, can y'all see that up there? And it's in your handouts as well. And so what I've done is I've drawn that for you, and I've used Google Earth Pro. And I've shown you on that particular elevation that there is an average slope of 8.4% on that front side. Next slide, please. On the next slide is also of Habersham Meadows. So I took a different look. I looked at the back side of that particular subdivision, and you'll see that the average slope there is 10.9% on that particular piece. If you look to the third slide, you'll see that I drew yet another line and looked at it, and Google Earth Pro says that that slope is 12%. So we're looking at somewhere between 8 and 12% on the front side, which is what we call Habersham Meadows now. It used to be Hancock Meadows.
2 minutes.
Habersham Landing, let's use that as an example. Okay, we're all familiar with Habersham Landing. If you go from the top of the Habersham Landing down to the bottom of Habersham Landing, that thing is 17.2% on its slope. Proposed site, if you go up that dirt road and look at the elevation change on that, on the proposed site that they want to do, you'll see that the average slope highlighted there for you is 37.7%. It is more than double the slope going into Habersham Landing. On the next page, I took another look at the slope, and it is 26.9%. So we could say the average of this particular piece of property is around 30%. Look at the last page. Why is it different? If you look at the last page and on that last slide, you'll see a ridge running right down the middle of, go to the next slide, please. You'll see there should be one more after that. That one. You see that ridge right in the middle of that? You see that finger sticking there? That's a mountain ridge. And the front side of the development's in the valley on one side of that, and Habersham Landing's in the valley on the other side of that. And they're proposing that development right down the finger of that. And that's why that property is somewhere in between 26.9% and 37% on the slope average on that. The rezone request, I've got the key concerns. They're in your packet. Council, you know that you've been elected to do what's best for our city, and we trust that you'll do what's best for our city and for the residents that live here, not particularly for other folks that may not live here. And I do have a petition that I'd like to submit as well. These are people that have signed a petition that couldn't be here tonight that say that they're in opposition of this, that are residents of, with the exception of one, residents of Habersham Meadows, saying that they're in opposition of this. Thank you for your time, Council.
Thank you, sir.
That's 10 minutes.
I mean, nobody else can speak on this?
Unless they allow additional time for
I
both
would
sides.
ask for additional time, please, Mr. Mayor.
That's fine.
Can you leave that slide up there just for a second? Let me say something.
Podium, please state your name, sir.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
How much additional time?
I'll only take a second.
5 minutes.
Can you put it back on the one before that says, my name is Sophie. I own this property that you're looking at. That's my house right there with the U-shaped driveway. So, yeah, it's really steep. You couldn't develop this, not my property. This 10 acres right here. I'm Habersham Lane's up here. I'm between Habersham and that. Yeah, that's my property right. My property runs all the way back to the corner here. I know where the new little. So that road right there is where they want to develop. That little new road. So it's hard to develop it. I don't know. I know you're not going to stop development, but these houses take up the whole freaking lot. There's no yard. So I think at least they should minimize the houses. If you're going to give them 30 lots, then minimize the house. Minimize the square footage and make them have a yard. Because otherwise, there's no room for family. There's no room for anything. Why the hell would you want to live? I mean, unless you're a renter. So that's why he wants 50%. He knows it. But anyway, I mean, the reality is, if y'all agree to that, I'm going to develop my piece too. I'll probably sell it to him. So, anyways, that's my piece.
3.5 minutes remaining for opposition.
Are you asking if there's nobody else in opposition?
Yes.
I am. My property adjoins this development.
Mr. Hibbert, I know your name, but would you state?
Robert Hibbert. I've lived in Demorest 30 years, so I pay $420 in property tax every month. This development, when they graded it, water runs off it into my creek. They have destroyed what had been there for thousands of years. I used to be able to walk down to the edge of the creek. It's now a 2-foot drop. It's undermining the trees that are falling in the creek. I don't trust them to grade the rest of this property properly. I'm also opposed to getting rid of any agricultural property in Demorest. There is very little of it now. It should stay zoned that way. Less is more. It's more important to us in Demorest to not turn this into a development I know you want to enlarge your tax base. But you just spent $10,000 on a survey that was done 15 years ago by the former mayor by simply putting a survey in with the tax bills to be dropped off at the town hall, and it didn't cost anything. They didn't need to spend $10,000 of my property tax money. I find it insulting that they did for something like that on a puffery kind of person that's going to analyze what they found when almost 12 people showed up. So I don't trust them in the development. The houses have, you have to put your car in the garage. You can't park it without it sticking out in the road. That road going in there, Saluda Drive or whatever it is, it's narrow and twisty. I know they're going to repave it again because they've left all the sewer pipes and everything up so hard that it's a nuisance to drive in there. And you're not going to be driving in, having people go off to work every day out of there and come back in there every day. It's hard enough to get through downtown when you're coming home from work now. With these, got nothing against restaurants.
1 minute.
And then when I went to the post office twice in the last couple of weeks, not a single parking spot. I have to walk from home maybe. Well, anyway, you don't want to get rid of agricultural land and just to turn it over to developers because we know what the experts are like. We've seen the experts with COVID. There's more I could say, but I could say what my father said about where you want to live. But you want to live in a place where you can not have to waste water by flushing the toilet when you're standing on your front steps.
Mr. Chairman.
That's 15 minutes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, and Thomas, may I say, I failed to say that I would like to publicly state for the record that our reserve is legal and constitutional rights that I might have in this process. That's a necessary statement to say, and so I do so publicly in order for the record. Please,
Thank you, sir.
Just one other little thing. In 1965, I came up with Henry's rule of real estate. We all remember where we were then, right? I was working at Pratt & Whitney Aircraft in engineering. My supervisor was moving to California and selling his house. And that's when I came up with Henry's rule of real estate. Whatever you value most is the first thing the next people will trash. And that's what's going to happen if you let these things in. You can only go one way with these houses. And they started off in that development with a couple of cheap, crappy things that you can see the roof lines going like this. With the prices they're selling these houses for in there now, somebody's going to just wreck those houses because they're trash and put in the $350,000 house with a 2 feet around. You're supposed to be, if you want to build a house out here, I thought you had to be within 10 feet of the property line. That doesn't happen in these developments. You get, if anything, 10 feet between the houses, not 10 feet to the property.
Thank you, sir.
Being no further time for opposition. Unless y'all want to allow more time for opposition, we're done with opposition.
2 more minutes for that.
45 seconds, I promise.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Members of the council, my name is Jim Butterworth. Mr. Musselwhite, nice to see you. Dr. Austin, thank you for that preparation. We should have coordinated sooner. We share our concerns, everything that these gentlemen have said already. I think it's ironic that Mr. Beavers would wear a shirt tonight that says, "Prepare yourself for a cheesy invasion." I don't know if anybody else in the room noticed that, but that's what his shirt says. The irony is thick. I would tell you that it concerns me as not an immediately adjacent property owner, but relatively adjacent, close by. The idea of putting 34 regularly traveled individuals with their vehicles on a road that I do own property on is concerning. I would challenge you all to balance the difference between increasing the tax base and making our city look like it's supposed to and like we want it to, and the areas that Rick and I grew up on, the areas that we want it to be in the future. So it's a tough decision. I challenge you, and I appreciate your time and your service. Thank you.
You have 50 seconds.
Okay, so I'm going to ask that you uphold your word to the citizens. You've spent a lot of time seeking input and making a decision for a zoning, and once that zoning was put in place, we expect for you guys to have our backs and to be worthy of upholding your word in that scenario. And so I'm going to ask again that you deny this rezone. It is not good for the city of Demorest. There is nothing good that will come. It is detrimental to those of us who live here and enjoy the calm and peace. Once it's destroyed, you can't get it back. So you are the keepers, and we're entrusting it to you. Thank you.
Close the opposition. Due to the need for equal time, applicant has 13 minutes for rebuttal.
I'm not sure I can do this in a completely logical way, but I'll try to address some of the things that you've heard as concerns from opposition in an orderly fashion. First, regarding the comp plan and its suburban transition character area, that map may very well have been produced by a regional commission, but it was adopted and it is part of this city's comprehensive plan. That's my position. So I respectfully disagree with Mr. Austin about whether or not the suburban transition character area map or the character area map is part of your comprehensive plan. It is. Let me read from the staff report a part that Mr. Austin failed to read from. Well, I'm just going to read from it all. If you've got it in front of you, I suggest, that's the wrong word, I implore you to follow what your staff has written for you. That's what you hired them to do, and they've done a tremendous job.
Matt, what letter are you reading? Something we got?
Planning and analysis. What I call a staff report. Paragraph 1, the proposal aligns with the 2023 Joint Comprehensive Plan. Paragraph 2, per the Georgia Stormwater Management Manual, section 3.1.9, detention design must consider downstream hydrology to avoid increasing peak flows. What does that mean? That means the development of this property cannot, shall not, unless it wants to come into violation of state law and the conditions you're going to attach, increase peak hydrology flows. It can't. If it does, the development is shut down. Damages will be incurred, and I'm sure fines will be substantial. And that's a question you can ask Mr. Mitchell. Continuing, the applicant proposes a hydrological analysis for 25-year events, 50-year events, and 100-year events when? Prior to a land disturbance permit approval. Before your staff even issues a permit, 25, 50, and 100-year event hydrological analysis studies have to be completed to the satisfaction of staff. That's before shovel hits dirt. You approving our application to rezone this property only affords my client the right to ask for a development permit. Right now, it can't even do it because it's not zoned. But once it's zoned, then it can ask for development permits with appropriate engineering in hand that staff will then review, analyze, and either approve or disapprove. Zoning this property does not, let me not be equivocal about this, allow my client to build 34 houses. It is step one of a lot of steps. Continuing with the staff report. Staff finds that the proposed density of 3.16 units per acre is within the R2 limits and compatible with R1 and R2 zoning. That's not just me telling you, that's your staff telling you. Public water and sewer service are available. Continuing, based on a review under state law, the request is consistent with adjacent land uses, supports the city's housing objectives, and promotes orderly growth. Those are my words. That's staff. And let's get to two important ones. The one that Mr. Austin quoted from, and it was a partial quote. I'm going to give you the whole quote. Number 11, whether there are existing conditions affecting the use and development of the property which gives supporting grounds for either approval or disapproval of the annexation and zoning proposal. There's no annexation here. The answer, yes. Now, what's the explanation? Let's read that. This development causes potential stormwater and watershed management issues. The topography is steep and will require retaining walls, stream buffers, and significant soil and erosion management during construction. I agree with all of that. The steepness is what the steepness is. It's going to have to be engineered, and no matter if it was flat or 90% grade, water has got to be managed, erosion's got to be managed, everything's got to be managed during construction. Now, here's the big kicker in the report. However, the rezoning to R2 for the purpose of single-family homes is not an issue. The site plan may need to be revised. We're talking rezoning here. We're asking you simply follow what you've already decided in advance this property ought to be in a suburban transitional area. Now, one thing I failed to mention in the opening is that my client is going to resurface the roads in Habersham Meadows. Is that a selfless act? It is not. It is quite selfish because my client knows it will not sell a single house in what it wants to build with those roads the way they are, because they are not in good shape. So my client's going to resurface it. He's already got a contract out. You can count on that because otherwise we're going to be sitting on 34 lots that aren't going to sell. And that is just bad, bad business. So we're going to repave, resurface those roads. I realize, this is not me being smart, I realize everybody wants to be the last person in this. Close the door after I get here. I know that. I understand that. Moved here for a reason, nobody else. What does that mean for property owners like my client? That means, well, you were just too late in asking. We would allow the farmer in 2008 to rezone his property, and we're going to allow you, we're going to treat you differently because you are too late. I would submit to you that that's an unfair treatment of similarly situated property owners. And I don't think Demorest wants to treat property owners differently based on sheer timing. Which leads me to another part of the staff report. Let's look at number 6. Does the subject property have a reasonable economic use as currently zoned? Answer, not likely. We know that as weak as you can get. It's an absolute no. I understand this is zoned agricultural, but those of you who've been to the property, and I know a number of you have, know that this was never used as an agricultural, in an agricultural use. This was not farmland or pasture land. There may have been trees that were timbered, but that's the extent of it. You could just, all you have to do is walk it to see it. This is not, we're going to take down cornfields, wheat fields, rice fields, or whatever else, cattle farm, and replace it with houses. That's not what we're doing. And if the policy was of this city, once something's zoned, it can never be rezoned, then half your code just needs to go away. Why even provide a rezoning procedures law if you're not going to allow the property owner to say, hey, my property has no viable economic use as it is. I'd like you to consider treating me like you treated my neighbor. That's all I want you to do. If we're supposed to just stick with what you got, then your code becomes meaningless and toothless. And I don't think that's what y'all want it to become. I want to emphasize something I already talked about. I'm sorry, it's going to be a dead horse at a certain point. What we're asking you to do is rezone the property in accordance with the comp plan. We're not asking you to allow us to go build 34 homes tomorrow. We're asking you for the opportunity to pursue it with engineering, hydrological studies, to placate your staff. And we think we can, but we don't know. It's going to cost a lot of money. Your staff knows it. It's in the report. There's got to be a lot of engineering before this property is ever available for actual development. We know that. We're going to have to sink money into it. That's next phase. And your staff gets, I believe, on certain site plan analysis, y'all get another shot at this. I think we have to come back before you for a site plan approval. You can ask Mr. Musselwhite, Mr. Mitchell that. But I believe just because you rezone, I know just because you rezone, we can't do it. I mean, our own recommended conditions make us provide a lot of scientific analysis before we can even get a development permit. So I implore you, do not judge us on engineering. Judge us on, is this where we want residential development? You already answered that question. Your staff answered that question. Both answers are in the affirmative. Through the lens of state law, through the lens of the local ordinance, and through the lens of the comp plan. If you approve us with all those myriad conditions, which we believe you should do that with the minor adjustments I suggested, you will be treating my client, property owner in this city, like you've treated previous property owners in this city. I believe that if you don't do that, you'll be treating my client differently than you've treated other similarly situated property owners. That being said, what I fall back on is the analysis your staff's provided, which I think is what you should defer to. They're objective, they're educated, pay them for a reason to do exactly what they did. And I implore you to adopt their analysis, make a motion to approve the rezoning, allow us opportunity to see if we can develop this property in the manner in which the comp plan anticipated it would be. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just counted that, as a child, that was farmland. I played in that creek and I looked at those farms, I went in those fields. I wouldn't expect Lawrenceville attorney to understand that by walking it today, but that was farmland.
Well, if he gets to talk, I did it. Is my time up, Mr. Mitchell?
You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I am a Lawrenceville lawyer. I'm also a resident of Jackson County, born and bred, dead. If I misspoke about that farmland, forgive me. But it is not used as farmland now, is my point. It is not a cattle farm. It is not a cornmeal. It is not. Many of you have been there. You can attest to that. I don't know what it was a generation ago when Mr. Austin walked the land. I don't know. But it's not now. And your staff's already analyzed the question. Does it have a viable economic use today? It does not. And so by maintaining the zoning as it exists, it is my contention that you're taking away my client's opportunity to achieve any sort of viability economically with his own property.
Thomas, to touch on that point on whether or not this allows them to start construction immediately or what their next step is, could you speak on that?
Sure. And all you're doing would be rezoning the property. They've still got to come before you to get approval of a preliminary plat. They have given you all what they believe is an anticipated site plan, but that is all it is. Before they get to the next stage, they'll have to come back before you for approval of a preliminary plat. And there'll be some engineering that goes into that process. But before they're able to get the first building permit, they will have to have a final plat approval, and that will require them to have all the infrastructure demonstrated, all that shown, all the stormwater management structures shown, and the studies to back up that those facilities will be able to handle the water.
And in that circumstance, if something like this is passed with the conditions that lie, those conditions continue on during that process, correct?
They do. They do.
Come to the point that they realize that 34 homes is too many and they can back off that without, they just can't go over 34?
Yeah, that, what you would be doing is capping what they can build there at 34. It's possible it could be 30 or 26 or something less, depending, but given the topo and what it requires for the stormwater and the other infrastructure to be put into place. All the 34 number is the maximum that can be put there.
Would you like to close this public hearing?
There's still a minute for to speak in favor. I don't see any others, so that would close this public hearing.
All right, council, with this public hearing, a second reading, and the public hearing being closed, we'll entertain a motion to approve or deny this application. If it is approved, we do need to make that motion with approval of the conditions with a modification of the 1,500 minimum square feet as mentioned, or any other changes you would like to make to those conditions. Council?
I'd like to make a statement. I've been overlooked this property. You're not concerned for this as the people that live in the section. You're talking about 34 houses. Most homes have 2 cars. So you're talking about an additional 60 cars going up and down this street. Where the driveways are already so small, people park on the street. I believe there would be a public safety concern for children playing in the yards, coming out between the cars. I just think it's too many homes for that. If there were another entrance to the property, you might consider something else. I don't think anything above R1 should be.
Sir. Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to deny.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second to deny? Second. All those in favor to deny?
Does that mean?
To deny the motion.
To be switched to agriculture.
No, to deny the motion completely. That's what the motion is. You want to continue that motion? To deny it and leave it agriculture? Okay. All those in favor to deny the motion and leave it agriculture? Any no's?
No, to deny.
No to not vote that direction. So we're gonna leave that as a 2 vote. Thomas, what's your suggestion?
Call for another motion.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the zoning for this to the zoning classes requested with the conditions in place. Do we have a motion? That fails for a motion. Thomas, what's the next step for a failed motion?
Well, the council has to take some action on this, so we need a motion to approve or deny, and then we'll need, and I would remind the council they have an obligation to vote on a motion that's made. So we'll need to call them. I would recommend that you call for another motion, and then all the council members need to vote unless they have a legal reason to disqualify.
We will bring it back up for another motion, to deny the applicants. Would anybody like to make a motion to deny?
May I ask a question?
Sir?
Is it possible to, if we approved it for them, I mean, all they're asking for is to have a chance to bring something to the table for us to say, okay, they've done this, they put the money into the study on the water runoff, maybe controlling that, I'm assuming, right? What if they do put the money into the study and it just fails miserably? And is it possible then they could just remain agricultural without us having to go through this process again? Is that possible? I mean, I understand what the landowner's saying. He doesn't want to invest the money into this engineering if he doesn't have the opportunity to get.
Then it would just come down to economic feasibility.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to tell someone that owns property, no offense, Ross, you're not gonna stay where you live forever, you're gonna pass away. And I don't know what's gonna happen to your property down the line. But someone may have your property and they want to develop it.
Yeah, they're called my sons.
So, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't. And meeting with the lawyer, I know he has family that has property. And that was a discussion about what happens if the county decides no more development. What happens to his family's property? So for this landowner to say, look, I just want to, with support from the council to invest money in engineering to see if it's even possible to put this up there. And it's not guaranteed, it's not. But if they come and they say, it's just, there's no way to do it. At the same time, I don't want to be locked in, that's remains part two. So then we have to go through this whole process again. Because if they want to put the money into it and it fails, then to me it's an answer for any future development.
Councilman Ferguson, since you directed that question to me,
Right.
I would simply say that if they were asking, if that landowner wanted to build a house or build two houses, which he's allowed to do under agriculture, I would not be here tonight.
Right.
I would say that's steep land, but it will support two houses. They'll be beautiful houses, they'll be big, beautiful houses. But 34, what they're doing is living in Atlanta and coming up here and they're going to spend, and they're going to put 34 houses there, and then they're going to go back to wherever they've gone to. And they're gonna make money on it. They're mining money out of here, and our sewer infrastructure and everything else is dependent on whether or not that creek flows or not. That's the simple question.
What you can do is you can add a condition that some jurisdictions are starting to add, that if final plat on the property hasn't been approved within 3 years, that it's a direction to staff to initiate a city-initiated rezoning to zone it back to the previous zoning classification.
That's a good point.
So you just cap them like at 16, like just cap them. Like I think most of us are okay with development, if we just don't want 30.
Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, the public hearing is over, so unless the council wants to reopen the public hearing, the comments currently need to be confined to either answering questions from applicant or staff or discussion among council.
Thomas, I think that's a good point as far as adding that stipulation where it reverts back in the time period. We'll once again entertain a motion to approve this application with the conditions, if you would like to add the condition that Thomas mentioned. Just have it 3 years. And do whatever you want.
As a practical matter, you're going to have to tie it to some benchmark that's in your ordinances, and the one that it's typically tied to is either final plat, or first building permit. And from the time you get final plat approval, there's usually 60 to 90 days before they can get first building permit. So you tie it to one of those, but it's measurable what it takes to get those two things. It typically, for a project like this, it's going to take every bit of 2 years to get them to the point where they can apply for final plat. If you want to tie it to final plat approval, then that's why I suggested 3 years. That's the magic to 3 years.
We'll entertain a motion to approve with conditions. Please be specific on your conditions. Correct.
So the condition, and I would ask if the applicant would agree to it, the final condition would be a final plat has not been approved within 36 months, staff is directed to initiate a rezoning of the property to agricultural.
That's fair.
The applicant is in agreement with that additional condition.
That stated, council, do we have a motion?
Once again, I make a motion that we deny this application.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second to deny the application? Second. All those in favor to deny the application? 2 votes. We have no votes to deny the application.
It's gonna be on you.
Well, that's just an approval, that's just how you gonna vote?
I vote no as well.
So right now, no action's been taken, so, I mean, the council needs to try to pass a motion to approve, whether it's with this set of conditions or another set of conditions, or get a majority to vote in favor of denial of the rezoning.
Point of order, sir, ma'am. Ma'am, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
You have a motion under Robert's rules, and you had 2 votes for, 2 votes against. They didn't raise, and you cast the deciding vote.
Yes, sir.
Motion is denied. Under Robert's rules.
Promise under that.
Yeah, the motion to deny is denied.
The motion to deny is denied, so we need an affirmative vote, one way or the other. You voted, what has happened, procedurally, what has happened is Mr. Davis and Mr. Bennett voted to deny. There was a motion, there was 2 votes against the motion to deny, and you voted in favor of, along with those that voted against the denial.
Correct.
So right now, again, no action's been taken.
Council, since you voted to deny, we're going to put a condition in place. Council, how would you like to make another motion? Sir?
Motion again.
Do we entertain a motion, to approve or deny, to approve? Please be specific on the conditions.
Again, I make the motion to deny.
Sir, we have a second to deny the application. To deny the application. Any vote to not deny the application?
All in favor?
All those in favor to deny the application? So that's 4 votes to deny the application. All right, next up is consideration of public This is on a, request from Alan Baker and Phil Smith.
Yeah, we'll ask if you can handle this general.
Right, Thomas, do you want to open up this public hearing?
This is a public hearing on a request from Alan Baker and Philip Smith for a special use permit for the use of, for a multifamily residential use on property located at 415 Fisk Avenue. Is there a staff report on this?
Let me get there, sorry. What they are asking for at 415 Fisk Avenue is for, which is zone B1, they're requesting to convert the property and existing buildings and residential use rental consisting of 8 to 10 long-term units in their submittal. And so it would be a special use for zoning request. I'm scrolling, give me a second. The uses are allowed in B1, and they're in the table that's dated, that's the table number 7.1, limited small scale commercial use of a convenience nature includes office, retail, and personal service establishments. Step 2 is the multifamily residential allowed in B1. Multifamily dwellings are allowed only with a special use. Short-term rentals are prohibited, but a rental that is contracted for more than 6 months is allowed as a special use if approved by the city council. Special, the final determination, it is compliant with the zoning ordinance only if a special use permit is approved by city council and the lease is longer than 6 months. Is it compliant with the B1 district? Only with an approved special use permit for B1 is commercial convenience district residential rental conversion is not permitted by the right. Short-term rentals are not allowed. Conclusion, special use permit must be approved by city council to create multifamily dwellings in B1. It is not permitted by right. If the city council approves this under special use authority, it cannot be used for short-term rentals. A special use may only be approved when the use is specifically identified as a special use within the applicable zoning district in table 7.1. Multifamily residential use is identified as a special use in B1. Again, short-term rental is not allowed as a special use. So, what y'all will be voting on is a special use because of the rental units. And to go with it's a 4.14 acres of land, and that zoning will go with, or that special use goes with the whole tract of 4.14, not just the building. So, what they would have is a special use. Thomas, if they wanted to build something else, whether it was single family, a duplex, or whatever, they would have to, they would or would not have to come back to get a land disturbance permit.
They would certainly have to come back and get a land disturbance permit. They can't do just a straight single-family residential on that property, B1.
So is this application just concerning the existing structures?
No.
They're asking for the special use permit on the whole property, but the what's there is the one structure.
They can make these apartments, then decide I'm gonna take the other 3 acres and put more apartment buildings.
They could.
I'm just gonna give the floor to the applicant.
The applicant here,
Yes.
you have 10 minutes to speak in favor.
Okay, thank you.
You saw that flow of the procedure, so if you want to save your time for rebuttal.
Sure, thank you, and I'll, try to be as quick as possible, because we do have some other folks that wanna speak, so I'm gonna start my watch here. On the first, slide here, you see, first of all, good evening, thank you, Mr. Mayor, um, members of the council, city attorney, and the good people of Demorest. Just want to introduce myself. My name is Alan Baker. I'm a longtime resident of Demorest, Georgia, not just Habersham. 61 years I grew up. As a matter of fact, right in this building. I was a long time back in the 70s. I was an elementary student here under the tutelage of Mrs. Hicks and Mrs. Bramlett, Mr. Honeycutt, Mrs. Lee, those folks. A lot of great memories here. My heart is in Demorest. I still live in Demorest. I want to present a vision that we have for the property formerly known as the Sherwood Clinical. My history is I am in real estate. I've spent 30 years in real estate. My last few years, I've spent a lot of time taking existing buildings that have been vacant, dilapidated, and disrepair, and have revitalized them into accommodations, either bringing houses up to 2023, 2024, and 2025 standards and reselling them, or just did a project on Madison Street in Clarksville where we took a vacant building. The roof was actually falling in. We put a new roof on it and put in 2 luxury apartments there that now house young professionals in those, and they pay a good solid rent. Our goal is to transform, obviously, and revitalize this property. It's an underutilized commercial space. It's vacant at the moment, and our hopes are to create something that Demorest will be very proud of. An attractive building that's consistently maintained, a property that's consistently maintained and will become an asset to the neighborhood. We feel like that, honestly, this property, the highest and best use is residential. It was obviously a specific use for Mr. Sherwood. He had a great business there, but that business is gone. And there's really not, this property's been on the market for a while, and it's not really had a whole lot of viable opportunities there from a commercial perspective. And so we're wanting to take something that we feel like can be a great asset to the city of Demorest. Bring about increased property value through the upscale renovations, and we'll talk more about those in a moment. Tax revenue growth, converting underused commercial space to occupied residential, obviously generates consistent tax revenue. We're attracting professionals. Spoke this past week, and he gave me permission to quote him, Mr. Patrick Franklin with the school system, trying to hire teachers to come into our area. And these folks can't find affordable housing, but they want to live in a nice upscale facility. But a lot of folks are, they've been forced to live in people's basements and garage cars and things like that. So trying to give them something that they can wrap their arms around. These are young professionals that want to start their life right here in Habersham and in Demorest. So we're looking for quality housing that attracts teachers, medical staff, business professionals straight out of college, and we feel like they'll be an asset to the local economy. If you will, take the next slide there. Just want to show you a few pictures of the building. There was actually a recent plumbing leak that went unnoticed for a couple of days. The floor was figured out. Didn't cause great damage to the property. You can continue on there. The parking lot, the grounds itself are starting to grow up because it's vacant property. It's not being maintained. You can see the building itself needs some work. The basement space has got extensive damage from the recent plumbing use there that needs to be taken in. And again, it's a vacant building. We don't like to think about what happens when vacant buildings are left vacant for a long time. The grounds themselves need repair. We have a ditch in the back and some things happening there. Our intentions are to bring this property back to where it needs to be.
and take care of the property, so that it's not only an asset to us, but to the city of Demorest and the surrounding property owners. If you will, this is just a DOT traffic. It's currently a commercial use. Some of the applications that can happen there, a restaurant, we did some research, you're looking at 100, 150 customers a day. Coming out on Fifth Avenue and into a 10,700 count a day traffic, that's a lot of traffic for a commercial use. Our residential, there's 38 parking spaces in this parking lot right now. And our usage would only, if I did the math right, I think we only need 18. So we're actually talking about downscaling the traffic count. If you will go to the next couple of slides here, this is just some of our vision for how the property should look. Cleaning things up, we're talking about having some additional openings there because we're looking at probably around 8 or so long-term rental properties. This particular property, this is one of just a couple of potential layouts for some of the apartment buildings, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom. Go to the next slide there, if you will, please. These are some of the finishes that we used, granite counters, LVP flooring, custom cabinetry. These are the type of accommodations that we're talking about bringing into this particular building, and hopefully creating something that everybody would be proud of. Private entrances, ample parking, common space for families to use, which again would be professionally maintained. And so this is a little bit about what we're hoping to accomplish. Again, spoke to some folks that surround the property. Some of them couldn't be here tonight. Miss Martha, who's on the hill up there, she's seen what we've done in the past. She's seen what I've personally done in the past. And she knows that we're going to treat the property right. I still live right down the road. So I see every one of you people out at Walmart and at church and at the ball fields. And I don't want you to be upset with what we're doing. I want to be proud of what we've presented and what we've created here. And hopefully it'll be an asset to the city of Demorest. I yield any additional time to additional speakers.
How much more time, Thomas?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Would you like to hold that time for a rebuttal or speaker?
Sure.
Yeah, we've got a couple folks that would like to speak possibly. Any,
Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the?
I will. I'll be very brief. My name is Jim Butterworth, again, not an immediate adjacent property owner. And I haven't been involved with the visioning that Mr. Smith and Alan Baker have had, but I know them by reputation. I am, again, a property owner. And I would tell you, if a window is broken in my house, who better to fix that window and repair it to the best of their ability than my neighbor? And so I know there may be other dissenting opinions. My other neighbors have concerns, and I would definitely want their concerns to be shared. And I might not totally disagree with their opinion. Again, I speak to the reputation of these two gentlemen. I would trust them with just about anything I have, including being a good neighbor. So thank you all for your service. I hope you have a nice evening.
I actually have to run, so
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else to speak in favor?
Mayor, I have 2 letters. Could I submit those to the attorney?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else to speak in favor?
I'll be very brief. My name's Wade Rhodes. I'm a commercial realtor. I've been a commercial realtor in this community for 26 years. There's something called highest and best use of property, and it changes over time. This property was originally built medical and office, but in today's market, that use has dwindled. There is not a demand for medical and office on this particular building. We've had it listed for over a year, and it is vacant. And I would rather see this thing be used and upgraded and be proud, be a very good, a proud piece of property for the city of Demorest. So changing this to a conditional use and full-time rental is its highest and best use, and I would certainly recommend you approve this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else to speak in favor? The letters that were handed to me were were signed by Rebecca Purcell, 115 Wisconsin Street, and Mike and Susan Ramsey, 253 Legacy Drive. I'll let you all read them, but they both generally write in favor of approving the special use permit.
Second. All right, we'll open the floor up.
Is there anyone to speak in opposition to this request?
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm Beth Shore. This is my husband Ken. Our farm is behind the Sherwood property and it adjoins. We are not against someone buying the property. We're against additional buildings being put on the property. We have had lots of damage to our pond throughout the years. We are worried more about more storm water runoff from Frisk Avenue and Wisconsin Street. We have spent over $75,000 on the rebuilding of our pond years ago and the maintenance of our pond. We redid the pond, we drained it, redid it. It's full of silt again, and it's all from the runoff. We have also spent over $2,000 with the current owner of this property to fill erosion holes created by the storm water runoff. And we sent a letter to the city that y'all already have a copy of the conditions that we're requesting. And there's also been pictures added to it. Y'all look at your pictures. And also on his slides, there was a picture that showed the back and there was a hole back there. If y'all could bring that up again.
Yeah.
And green grass and.
It's like slide number 8. Yes.
You see that? It doesn't look big. Y'all can look at it. You could put cars down in there. It has been a constant problem. Things were it's the pipe has come loose. It's been eroding all these years. Our ponds, they muddy all the time. We've spent money and it just keeps doing it over and over again. But page 2 shows the pond full of silt. Page 3 shows the stream and the location of the springs. Page 4 shows the erosion from the back of the Sherwood property, and that doesn't give it justice to how huge it is. Pages 5 through 10 show the erosion and drain pipes from the storm drain. Page 11 shows the concrete that Ken has added trying to stop the erosion. And that's been out of our pocket, but it has been a constant problem. We've owned the farm since 2001. There was a problem then, we rebuilt the pond, and it's still happening. If you do approve this, we hope that you will consider our requested conditions. We would definitely want an EPD review of any construction that could cause additional storm water runoff. And I appreciate your time and being able to look at the conditions there.
Council, their letter is on your tab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak in opposition?
Hello, my name is Kelly Stevens. I'm here on behalf of my Aunt Kelly, who is currently out of town. Kelly owns the adjoining parcel property 0781228, which is 188 Wisconsin, and I approached to give you guys. Mrs. Stevens is opposed to the assurance of the special zoning change that will allow 8 to 10 long-term rental units at 415 Fisk Avenue because the proposed use does not comply with the intent of the current zoning. The subject property is zoned B1 or neighborhood business. A special use property must be approved by city council to create a multi-family dwelling. It is not permitted by right. The request from Mr. Baker and Mr. Smith states the proposed rental use is a downscale change from the prior commercial use and will reduce the intensity of activity on site. The prior commercial use was used Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. The proposed rental units will generate 24-hour activity, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, a substantial increase to the activity on the site. The request from Mr. Baker and Mr. Smith states their project will substantially reduce traffic. Mrs. Stevens contends the project will produce significantly more traffic with a potential of 2 or more vehicles per residence of each rental unit plus visitors. Using a maximum of 10 units with an average of 2 adults and 2 teenage children per unit with an estimate of 2 visitors per unit, a total of 60 vehicles on site could easily exceed 60. The project request states that the estimated parking demand is 14 spaces. Ms. Stevens contends that this is not a logical estimate. Finally, the request from Mr. Baker and Mr. Smith states that their project is consistent with a neighborhood character. Mrs. Stevens contends the project is commercial in nature with the possibility of 10 units and is not consistent with a single family.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak in opposition? Seeing none. Applicant has a minute and a half for rebuttal.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council and good people of Demorest. My name is Philip Smith. I grew up in this area. I'm from Baldwin. I don't live in Demorest, but I was born in Demorest along with my 3 siblings. So we love Habersham County. We love the municipalities here, including Demorest. Just by way of rebuttal, I would mention the first speaker mentioned, I guess Ms. Shore mentioned concern with runoff from Wisconsin Street. Not a lot we can do about that. But we can do something about the runoff at 415 Fisk. Right now, there's no traffic there. Obviously, the property is vacant. We would like to change that and use that property to put high-end villas there, and we believe we can do a good job of that. The building located at 415 Fisk, the old Sherwood building, it's been mentioned, has been on the market for quite a while. It's been, I guess, over a year with little to no interest from prospective buyers. One must ask why a building could sit so long without interest. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, the fact remains that this property, any property for that matter, that remains vacant and unused tends to fall into disrepair and become blighted. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Perhaps some property owners would keep it up just enough to satisfy the municipal requirements. That is not our desire. I do have, as Mr. Allen had posted there, I do have some handouts too that will show exactly what we intend to do with this property. That's current B1 zoning, this property is readied for a number of businesses that could include, according to the city's website, automobile sales, convenience stores, as long as there's no gas pumps, restaurants, as long as there's no drive-through, and a number of other retail or other business establishments. My question to the people, to the good people of Demorest, is that what you want at Fisk Avenue? Do you want a restaurant that has 100 to 150 cars coming in and out? Do you want a convenience store there? Or would you rather have a property that has 10 to 15 cars coming in and out there? There's no way that that property can support a convenience store or an automobile sales lot or retail establishment, a retail establishment where there's a lot of traffic coming in and out. We believe that most residents would prefer their peaceful front or backyards not be subject to the noise of traffic and hundreds of vehicles entering and exiting business, restaurants, and retail establishments. That's what could be put there right now. Our estimation is that Central Avenue could not reasonably and safely handle the traffic flow that some retail or restaurant establishments may require. You can imagine a restaurant that has 100 to 150 cars coming in and out of there a day. Is that good for Fisk Avenue? I would submit to you that it's not. Not only would a residential
Mayor.
special use permit offer a more tranquil, peaceful, and quiet and living environment, but the safety of residents and their children would be safeguarded. While convenience stores and many other retail establishments by nature often have an abundance of in and out traffic of all hours of the day and night, this type of disturbance in a neighborhood is not conducive to quiet living, nor is it favorable to property values. However, our proposal would suggest perhaps 10 to 15 working professional residents' vehicles leaving the complex daily. For these reasons, we respectfully ask that the council and the city residents give us fair and careful consideration to a promising, beneficial, and beautification proposal of revitalizing the current building at 415 Fisk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The other side still had 2 minutes left when they stopped.
You go ahead.
That closes the public hearing.
Thank you, sir. In closing this public hearing, is this a first read or do we require a second read?
Special use permit. I think it's an ordinance, so I think this would be first read.
Okay, so we'll have a second read next.
You will.
Let me ask a question. Megan, are we advertised, we're not advertised, we didn't advertise this for the May meeting also, did we?
Jessie did not. She advertised just what it says there.
For special use. So,
We have time to advertise it, so.
say that again? That's okay.
We have time to advertise it.
I just wanted to make sure we were aware of that.
Very good. Thank y'all. That's for all of your input.
I have a question for the gentleman,
Sir, yes, sir, it is.
You talked about the condition of this building. Is it your intention to revamp this building or tear it down?
No, if I may, no, sir, absolutely. The structure is something that we will revitalize and repair and remodel. We will be utilizing the existing structure, just beautifying and bringing it up to.
Can I approach and give you, this is what we're intending. And does anybody care for a copy?
And this is on approximately 1/3 of the property. What did you finance to the other 2/3? That was down there last year.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Honestly, Philip and I, we're not huge investors. We're small investors. We don't have any direct plans for the property in the back at this moment. We see that as several years down the road. We're going to spend enough money on the building, just bringing it up to par. But it would be something that would be conducive to the special use application. We had even thought about things like private residence back there, but I understand that may or may not be involved. That was kind of news to me this afternoon. The city attorney was working on that. I apologize. I just heard that out of your conversation about single family would not necessarily be available as an option for that property. Is that? I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. Because we had looked at potentially developing 3 or 4 small homes back there or something. But it would be something that's residential and would be aesthetically pleasing. We have no intentions of any kind of commercial, for sure. That's why we're asking for this change.
You could do a single-family detached, but it would require a special use permit to do that.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's not included in what you've requested for this.
Right, right. Which we would be glad to return and do so, but it will be several years down the road, honestly. We have no immediate intentions.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. All right, so that'll be next month for the second reading and a vote. Okay. All right, next up is consideration and discussion of the water conservation plan. This is the plan that we have to turn in. Is this the state or the feds?
This is state EPD.
EPD. So this goes to the EPD, and this is the beautiful 78-page report that they put together for us. So we need a motion to accept and approve the water conservation plan that EMI put together for us.
Make that motion.
Do we have a second? All those in favor to approve this? Very good. Next up, new number 11, water and sewer development bid or quote that EMI put together. It's right at $13,000 for them to put together a water and sewer development plan. Council, would y'all like to move forward with this contract with EMI to put together this plan with the standards for us? That's first and a second to approve the, what's that final price?
$12,500.
Not to exceed $12,500 to move forward and build that plan. All those in favor? Very good. Next is the 2-inch water meter agreement. We talked about that. Do y'all have any other questions, or can we entertain a motion to accept that?
Make a motion to approve that.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Very good. Next is consideration of the DDA map. And that's to amend their map that they have proposed to us and submit that to the state. Council?
I provided Megan with a resolution that would approve that we can send to the Secretary of State's office.
Thank you, sir.
You may need to like pull it down and open it up if you want to review it.
Okay.
It's in your tab. You have to refresh. It's under the DDA map folder.
It's a folder. We need an amendment to adopt the resolution adopting the new DDA map. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Good. Got it? Sir? GoGov's contract. This is the contract with app service. Is there a motion to approve this, or would y'all like to table this for further discussion?
Yeah, I wanna make a motion to table this so that I've got more time to look this over.
All those in favor of the table,
So we discussed
or we need a motion to second?
Okay. That was a motion.
There's a motion, we need a second.
Second.
All those in favor to table this? We'll do that on next month's agenda. The cleaning contract, this is the contract cleaning in here, City Hall, adjacent bathrooms. We need a motion to approve this contract.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Very good. Next is the 4th of July band contract with council motion and approval, giving the city attorney the right to write the contract, and Mr. Musselwhite the ability to approval of that. We would like to entertain a motion to accept the 4th of July band contract. Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor? Next is the alley closure of Walnut in Ohio as discussed. Pretty much at the end of the pavement there, those roads to that resolution.
I'll make a motion for that resolution.
I'll second. Thomas, do we need to have something in there about the specific dollar amount or just a general or anything?
Not yet. That'll be decided when you all actually vote to abandon it and dispose of it next month.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Next is the GMA employee benefit proposal. This has been a long conversation, and this is something that would not go into effect until January 1st, so we do have a little time to continue the conversation. If y'all would like to table it or make a motion to accept one of the proposals.
I'll make a motion to table this.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor to table this topic? No. I would also like to challenge y'all to kind of dig into a little bit more about the different options and talk to maybe some of the employees about those stuff.
And Josh is available from GMA too.
Next is consideration of home rule ordinance to amend section 2.21 quorum. Thomas, would you like to take that?
Yeah, the fundamental change that this makes to your charter is that in the unlikely event that we're down to 2 members, the current charter only allows the mayor to vote to break ties. What this charter amendment does will allow, in that lone instance, whoever sits in the mayor's seat to vote to create the third vote, affirmative vote to take action.
Sir. Council, y'all have any discussion on that? Entertain a motion to accept this new amended section.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Very good. Next is consideration to allow me to sign the opioid settlement, another one of these opioid settlements, for that class action lawsuit. We need a motion to allow me to sign the settlement agreement for the opioids. Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor? Very good. Next is consideration of continuing our agreement with the Board of Education for fuel purchases. Council, we need a motion to, for that approval of that contract.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Very good. Manager's report is done. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
We'll tell you that we are very close on our final bid numbers on the parking lot cost. And I've got 3 bids in hand at this point in time. They're within the original estimated price range of $475 to $525. And so that's happening. We are meeting with Rainwater Associates either Monday or Tuesday to finalize those numbers. So my plan is for y'all to have those numbers for the May meeting. And Thomas, I just want you to retouch up on the lease with the post office. I've got that queued up to send to you tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll send it to y'all if y'all want to see that too, but nothing that I'm aware of has changed in that original numbers and and that way we would be working with our local lender to have a proposal to pay for that and cash flow from the post office service that debt.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll come to the last part of our meeting with appearance and public comments. Would anybody like to step forward and speak on anything we talked about?
I want to say I appreciate the decisions y'all came to tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure do. Thank you.
All right, we need a, I believe we do have something to discuss in executive session.
Personnel and litigation.
Thank you, sir. We need a motion to enter into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? All those in favor? All right. Thank you, guys.
Going into the Don't think so.
Oh, we can. So all this stuff that was.
Goes in, put it in the files.